Some of the ducks are getting kind of antsy. We're in the dead of winter here in Horseshoe Valley, Ontario, Canada, and I'm just gonna go through the motions today with you to explain how we assist our ducks in surviving these long Canadian winters. We house our ducks throughout the winter in the Duckie Bunkie, which also has a 30-foot run, and they're allowed to go in and out as they please and get all their food and water out in the run, therefore not dirtying up and wetting up their house in the interior. The ducks actually have a very important job to do here on the farm, and it's a twofer. Basically, they keep the insect population under control in our orchard, and they fertilize the entire pasture area in the orchard. As you can see right now, we cannot do that because of the snow. It's just not feasible, it's not practical. But normally, we open up this door and march the ducks out into the orchard, and they basically live out the entire daytime in the orchard. They have water, they have lots of grass, lots of bugs, and we do not feed them while they're out in the orchard. It's their job to forage for their own food. And the reality is they do a really great job. These khaki Campbell ducks that we raise are incredible foragers. You can really tell the ducks can't wait until spring, because every once in a while you'll hear wah, 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 wah. That's the lead drake or the lead few drakes just giving a quack so they can all get rumbling. We have a bulk feeder here for them too, so this makes my job a lot easier in the winter because I don't have to stay out here to feed them all the time. And I knew I was running out of food, so this bin, it's like a garbage can, but you can see the ducks can stick their head in there and not really make too much of a mess. But this holds 4 bags of feed. We just feed the ducks a layer poultry feed, and we find that it does just fine. Sometimes it can be difficult to find waterfowl food, so we just feed them the layer poultry feed. I made this feeder a few years ago, and it's been like a lifesaver, you know? It's so efficient for the winter, being the guy that comes out here and does the winter chores. Sometimes it's very cold and very wintry, and you don't want to be outside for a long time. You can fill this up, 4 bags of feed. You only have to fill this up like once a month. I mean, for our ducks, depends on how many ducks you have, but for us, it's like once a month. That's pretty good. The long winters are also a great time to supplement your ducks with some niacin. We use brewer's yeast. We just get this from the health food store, and you sprinkle a bunch of it in the food, and what I do is I just sprinkle it in there, put more food on top, sprinkle some more of this, and that one whole bin there, I end up using one of these jugs. And it's important for them to get some extra niacin because there's not a whole lot of niacin in chicken food, poultry food, and I'm sure they get the niacin from eating insects and grass and stuff like that. So in the winter, we definitely pump them up full of some brewer's yeast. Now I have a special tool that I use to keep the water from freezing. Let me show you. Basically, I have an outlet set up here, and it's these things right here. I just call them heated water pucks, but really it's a chicken waterer de-icer. And I'll just come in here and leave it in the bowl. I swear by these rubberized bins. They're really great for the winter because you can break the ice if you have to. In my case, those heated water pucks, they don't do any damage to the bottom of this bowl because they don't really get hot enough to melt the rubber or nothing. They just get hot enough that the water won't freeze. Of course, it goes without saying, you always want to have a water source nearby whenever you're raising ducks because you don't want to be lugging water all over your property. after they come out here to get their first initial bath, which they love to do in the winter, then what I'll do is I'll add some more water because they splash around and honestly the water disappears. So I need to fill this up. Ooh, he's ready to go. As you can see, the ducks are very hardy. They have a grand old time swimming in the water, splashing around. It really helps them cleaning the insects off or any mites that they might have. And really, they have this special aortic valve that runs from their heart directly to their feet, and that's what basically prevents their feet from freezing, you know. So they're quite incredible beings, super hardy, really love and enjoy keeping these ducks on our farm. They're a very big part of what we do here. This entire run is protected by a hardware cloth. It's not really a cloth, it's this hard wire stuff. I just happen to use 1/2 inch, but you could use a 1 inch even. Basically, you want to protect them from predators. You know, you don't want the predators to be able to break through the chicken wire, so you don't use chicken wire to protect from predators. We basically use the same heater pucks for our geese. They have a little run there, and this is the goose caboose that I built for them. They will go out in the orchard with the ducks, and their job is to guard the ducks. They're like watchdogs for the ducks. And they do a great job. We haven't lost any ducks in the orchard yet, so they're doing something right. They're loud and obnoxious, and nobody wants to mess with a goose. You guys okay? We're gonna give you some water. See those things? I love them. They work really great. Hey, buddy. You okay? Don't fall. You okay, buddy? And you can't forget that waterfowl definitely do not need any supplemental heat, okay? They have down feathers. I mean, they have down feathers, you know? You know the downy feathers, like the little tiny feathers that you get in your winter jackets or winter vests or winter comforters for your bed at home. Sometimes they're in pillows. Those are all down feathers, sometimes from duck, mostly from goose. But they're very, very similar. And they don't need any heat, that's for sure, because they have these down feathers, and their external feathers are also waterproof. They're very cool. You'll see the water just beating off of their feathers as they splash around in the water. Sun's out, guns out, people! This is a rare occasion here to have sun. We're not used to it in the winter, but that's okay. I'll take what I can get from Mother Nature. Another important thing you got to do for your ducks to survive the winter is that they need a nice layer of bedding. We use straw inside the ducky bunkie, and we follow the deep bedding method or the deep litter method. This is basically a concept of creating insulation by putting straw down and having the ducks soil it and poop all over it, and then putting more straw down and they poop on it, more straw and they poop, and it builds up a thick layer, therefore insulating the floor. And of course it creates some pretty wicked awesome compost come the summertime. We really enjoy keeping these ducks. They're fun, you know? They're fun. And that's what's number one most important. You got to be able to have fun with some of your crew. If you can't do that, then what are you doing it for? But our ducks are well on their way to surviving until the spring. I hope some of these tips that I've given you in today's video will quell any questions, maybe have a little entertainment value for you, because the ducks are pretty awesome, let's face it. And if you're thinking about getting ducks, you'll at least have an idea now on what to expect if you're living in a cold climate, and things that you may need to do to help your ducks survive the few months of the winter. And if you're interested in watching the ducks working in their orchard environment last summer, I'll put a video up on the screen and you can just take a watch and try to enjoy some of the nice greenery to get us out of this winter, okay? Appreciate you watching. Thanks so much. We'll see you on the next episode.